Hello, Fixsters. Today we are going to take a tour of our fig forest, of our garden, and you can see, the trees that we have here. We have 12 that are in ground, and we have about 120, 110, 120 or so that are in pots. But for the in-ground ones, we'll cover them first. We don't protect them in the winter anymore because they've gotten to the size that it's very difficult to actually do that. So this is green mature sky. This one's 4 years old. We did a review on this one over here. Double stump on this one, pretty good, 2-3 inches across. It's a nice established tree. You can see it's taller than me. We're nearing the end of the season here, so it's almost done ripening figs. But behind that, tucked away, we've got an improved Celeste that's also in the ground over here. You can see that one's like a double, again, same kind of thing, double trunk on that one. We'll probably trim that one from the bottom a little bit to open up so it can breathe a little bit. Here we've got a red Lebanese Becca Valley also in ground. This one took frost damage. So we're reestablishing the main leader on this one. Next to it, we've got unknown green, Nassau green. This one was our first tree. Also did a video on that one as well. This one is actually just beginning to ripen figs. It's a honey fig, Italian honey. They're just beginning to swell on this one. It's a later season variety than, say, the green maturinska that was over there. But if you continue, we've got Floria in ground over here. This one is also virtually done. There's basically 2 or 3 figs that are left on it. This was our first one to go ahead and start ripening figs this year, but there's just a couple left. So within a couple of weeks, this one will be completely finished. Nice, healthy looking tree. You can see this is the duckfoot Floria. There's a couple different leaf varieties. This one more tends towards the duckfoot variety of it. Next to Floria, we've got Atriano, big sprawling Atriano. This one's in the midst of ripening. It's got probably a couple more weeks to go before the figs are finished on this. There's a few here and there left on it that are getting pretty close. Nice big green fig with a amber interior. Continuing on our tour, you come across the yard, you're going to see us coming up to our Peter's Honey. This was our second tree, in fact. We put this one in the ground. Doesn't do super great because it's a little bit cold sensitive, so it basically dies to the ground each year. You can see this is all new growth from this year. From last year, you can see it froze. Okay, and so that's one of the leaders from last year. Slug damage on it and all that. We'll probably get rid of that at the end of this year. But this is all new growth and it's loaded with figs. They're just getting started. On the bottom, there's one that's covered. They'll start swelling up in another couple of weeks. Next to it, we've got I-258. Also not a great choice for in-ground. This is all new growth on this one as well. Next to that, we've got dark Portuguese Bass variety. This is a super in-ground fig, great for the Northeast over here. This one's got figs on every branch, fully loaded. They're all in the process of ripening, some stage of ripening. That's a dark red fig, almost a purple fig. It's an Etna, but a good, reliable variety. Next to that, we've got Hanevino Dark. This is another Bass variety. This is a Sal's Corleone type fig. This one is also just getting started. All pretty much new growth on this one, except the central leader here. These were all suckers that, well, nope, this is from last year too, actually, but many of these are suckers from this year, which we'll get rid of in the wintertime when it starts to cool down. Final one over here in this batch is Ronde de Bordeaux. Pretty obvious from the leaves when you see this one, big finger-like leaf. This one, the nice thing about this one was, even though it pretty much died to the ground, all this new growth, we've been enjoying figs because it's a 60-day fig, so it takes 60 days to ripen. It's actually in the midst of it. A lot of them have already ripened off, but there are a few left that are still going. Here's one, for example, almost ready to pick, down at the bottom of this one over here. Ronde de Bordeaux. We've got a Niagara Black as well. That one's tucked away in the back over here in a not the most optimum area for figs, but we've got our Black Niagara over here, same as longed out. Basically, this is a very large elongated fig. You can see there's a couple on here almost ready for picking. That's what the in-ground one looks like. And then we go into our potted figs, which we have over 100 of. So coming across, quiet. We've got them set up in rows so that you can access in between and pick them. I'm not going to go and name every single one, but and they're not alphabetical or any particular order, except we put the ones kind of out here in the center, which get the most of the daylight. So these are the later season. Madeira Island Black, for example, is over here. It's a kind of premium spot because this gets the sun all day long from morning till evening. You can see we're starting to get a little bit of rust because we're late in the season already, but and the temperature changes are starting to cause some splitting issues. So here you can see one that's ripening, and we've got that one split open, so that'll be a jam or a wine fig when we pick that one later today. But you can see, 2 rows. Each one is hooked up to a drip irrigation system. So I've got water lines run back and forth, and every single pot has a dripper, either half, 1 or 2 gallons per minute, depending on the size of the pot and the thirst of the fig. We'll go over that kind of in another video in more detail, but this is more about the forest here. So you can see them lined up, so there's kind of easy access in between them. Angelito here, for example, this one is just going to be getting started. Still a little bit far away from actually ripening. There's one on here somewhere that's getting close. Yeah, here's one. This one will be ready in probably another day or so. That one's almost ready. And they're kind of all mixed in. This is Ruby Rose over here. The tall one in the back is LSU Red. We have Martinique Ramada, Ondata. Some of these are grafted. Another Ronda de Bordeaux. We've got a couple of cups you might see here in the fig pots. Those are filled with soda that's mixed with boric acid, actually borax. We'll go over that too in another video. That's for handling pests. We use that to control ants and yellow jackets. But you can see, reaching the end over here on this side, a variety of pot sizes. We've got 5 gallon, 7 gallon, 10 gallon, 15 gallon. That's that half of the fig forest. We've got a more primo area here, which is a little warmer microclimate close to the house. Here we've got tucked in 3 Zaffiros, 3 Violettas, and a couple of Bulgarian heritage figs. This is the Big Brown, which is actually, in reality, the Brunswick fig. Another Bulgarian variety here. This is the giant yellow Croatian, which is just about finished. There's a couple figs left on that one. You can see the rust on it as well. We've got, this is an unknown, which is going to be used for grafting this winter. We've got Violetta, which is ripening figs. You can probably get a view of that on this side over here. There's 2 or 3 Madeira type, is the Violetta, beautiful fig. The back row over here is all Zaffiro figs. That's in the midst of ripening. Honey fig, the Nicky variety Zaffiro. Okay, and as we continue on, again in kind of primo spots next to the house, microclimate. Here we've got one of our unknown Bulgarians, the Petite Violet on the right. On the left, we've got Bass's Lebanese Green. This is a very interesting fig, which we did a Breba review on. And then we've got the balance of the fig forest over here, also set up in rows of 2 or 3 so that we can easily get in between. Everything's on a drip irrigation system. Pots painted white to protect the roots somewhat from the heat of the sun while it's on it. So we did spray paint those. It's a little bit of upfront work, but it works great to prevent the roots from getting overheated and dried out. A ton of figs. Here's a beauty over here. B&R, very popular fig, very pretty fig. This one's got an albino on it, but you can see this one's got quite a good number of figs. Here's one that's beginning to ripen. You can see the pretty color on that one, the pink and the stripes. This one's a little bit further on, just about to crack on me. That might be ready in a day or so. So that's B&R, just loaded with figs as well. But you kind of get the idea. You can walk through, enough room to get through each of the trees and be able to pick and fertilize and do what we have to do to make sure that the trees stay healthy and we have a lot of fruit. We'll wind up probably harvesting on the order of 200 pounds of fruit from these trees. We did 220 pounds last year. This year we've got 85 already, and we got another month to go. So we'll probably be in around the same area, and we'll use that to make wine and jam and all sorts of other tasty things with the figs. So thank you for taking my tour of our fig orchard. I hope you enjoyed it, and happy figging, everyone.